Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to stand up here and present to you what we tried to figure out in the last 30 months. It's a very simple title. It's Idea, Methodology and Procedure. So a little bit about the ideas behind DESSI, Lars already presented in his introduction. But still, I think we have to be aware, and we saw that from the keynotes we got beforehand, that there is a broad range of problems out there, challenges out there, and we can see that many domains, from cybercrime to border control, even healthcare system, education, are in a way securitized. That it means that there are problems framed as security issues, as they are raising problems for security of civilians, of pupils, of different kinds of people, which are threatened by something. And as soon as you have a security problem, it's very easy to find one solution. And the last 10 to 15 years, we can see that most of the solutions are technical ones. So whenever there is a security problem out there, politicians, decision makers tend to find one technical solution to that. And you also can see the last decade that security investments increased substantially. And if you really go into the depth of the decision made, you often see it's an immediate response. Maybe there is a terror attack. You have to find at least the solution immediately. So you find, for instance, that deep packet inspection is necessary on the net, or you find that data retention directive is necessary, and all our communication data are held for another 6 to 24 months. So this seems to be a very immediate response without too much of thinking. That might sound a little bit provocative, but that basically is the background of what we found before we began with the DESSI project. So, and often these decisions are one-dimensional and technology-driven, as I said before. And another thing is they are often made in closed-door decision-making processes. Nobody knows who really lobby is for what, who made the real decision, and who engaged in what strength. So what we found was a method is needed for transparent decision support. So this was actually the task we had to find, and this is the idea. The second point I have to talk about is the methodology. In opposite to the background we found, we thought decisions on security investments should be multidimensional, not only speaking of cost efficiency or something like this. It should be participatory and transparent. That means not in closed jobs, open for stakeholders, open for people affected, and it's necessary in days like this to be supported by a web tool. That means almost everybody on the net can use it and can have a look at decisions made. So this is basically what we thought the whole idea should be about, and what are the cornerstones, so to say, about the DESSI procedure. So in this little picture you already see the main phases of DESSI, and I want to go into detail now on the three phases of DESSI, and start with the security problem description. Whenever you have a problem, or whenever you start a project, to be honest, you must know what you're talking about. So the very first phase we decided to have within the web tool and the DESSI procedure is the security problem description. That is, it's really that you sit down and think, what is the problem at stake? What is the real problem? For instance, do you want to save the life of a prominent person living in a specific house or working in a specific house? Or do you want to save the house not to be bombed? So that's two different things, and you need different security solutions for that in the end. So be aware that you don't mix up different security problems in the beginning of making a decision on a security investment. So in that first phase, you need to sit down, do some desktop research, really think it over, what you want to fight, what you want to prevent, and maybe you need some expert input and knowledge from outside, so you do some expert interviews on that. And for instance, all these phases I'm talking about now are structured with the web tool. You will see that in the afternoon. But basically, the first strength is really know what the security problem is. Is it immigrants? Is it saving lives? It's totally two different things. And as you said before, it makes a big difference if you have drones up there for weeks scanning a whole area, or you have little drones for search and rescue areas. So with these manifold problem descriptions we find out now in policy papers right now, we might get into trouble when you really go to the decision. So be aware of what the real security problem at stake in your organization or in your political arena is. So as soon as you know what the problem is, and this is one of the major steps we made, I think, with DESSI, is you have to think about that investment and different alternatives. To be honest, many of the decisions made in the security domain are not guided by a security problem, but by a security technology at stake. Because vendors want to sell them, and you need this technology, but you should, if you really want to make a balanced and a transparent decision, know if there are alternatives to this one solution. That one solution may be technical, could be organizational, or could be legal. So it's not necessarily that you are in the way of the DESSI procedure comparing more or many technical alternatives. It could be that one alternative is a legal one is a technical one, or two are technical ones. So this phase, and that's the first participatory event we have in the DESSI procedure, incorporates the kind of workshop where you find and try to figure out what could be an alternative to the solution you envisaged. Because in the beginning of this kind of security investment decision processes, you all, most of the time, have one solution already in mind. So what we try to support with the DESSI procedure is to think in alternatives, to open up your minds, and to open up the whole process for alternatives. So you invite stakeholders, you get knowledge from outside, you do that in a, and Lars already mentioned it, in a very scalable way. You can use, for instance, the investments and alternatives template, and the DESSI procedure is providing you with templates for all the phases. You work through this little workshop on your own in your organization, or you can do it in a very intensive way and do it for a 1 or 2 days workshop, just to have all the possible alternatives at stake. So this is the second phase of the DESSI procedure, where you already get into participatory steps. And the third and the core thing is what we call the multi-criteria assessment workshop. And on the left-hand side you see the 7 dimensions already mentioned by Lars, that we try to design in order to have a very broad and holistic view on the problem, on the different alternatives, and to make these decisions as based as possible. And from the presentations we had before, you saw that the fundamental rights and ethics dimension, the second one, is as well in the cybercrime and in the drones phase a very important thing, but it's not the only one. Besides that, we think that it is very important if you really want to decide upon a security investment that you get a clear idea what is actually the security gain or loss you get by these investment. Is there any security gain? Is it a perceived one? What is the promise in it? And so as with all the other 7 dimensions, we try to operationalize these dimensions, the security gain or loss we call it, with 6 criteria. So in the end, if you have these 7 dimensions, you get 42 criteria on which each of the alternatives is assessed. So you get a very broad picture, and alternative 1 could be good in dimension 3, for instance, but can have a real deficit in maybe in the economy or so. So you can compare what is really important for you, for your organization, for your security problem at stake, and then in the end make your decision. So the first dimension, security gain and loss, deals with things like the increase of measurable security, the increase or loss of perceived security, is dealing with is the preventive measure or not, is there any raise in capability to recover, what is about the rational decision making and the fair distribution of security, for instance. The second dimension, the fundamental rights and ethics, clearly deals with issues like private life, freedom of the individual, non-discrimination, transparency, social trust, and the balance of purpose and measure. So you see in each of these 7 dimensions you have a clear-cut structure where you are dealing on a very operationalized way with each alternative. The third dimension, the legal framework, is, so to say, a layer below the fundamental rights, and it is the missing, for instance, legal framework for using drones as soon as you go into the civilian use, besides the military one. Things like that. It's about data protection, accountability, the misuse, or things like function creep are assessed. It's also hazards to operators. What does that measure, whatever it may be, mean to people who are working on it or with it in the future? And it is about environmental hazards and insufficient or sufficient legislation on the issue. The fourth dimension, and this is really, I think, new and not all too often used in security investment decisions right now, is about social implications, and this means it deals with issues like employment and labor market. So what does it mean for the home market, for foreign market? What does it mean for employees? It's about social equality, involvement and social contacts. It's about the health system. It's about long-term impact on the cultural system, and it's on impacts on international relations and third party countries. The fifth dimension, acceptability, is about are there new risks with this envisaged solution A, B, or C? And always be aware we are assessing 2, 3, or even 4 alternatives at the same time with regard to the same criteria. What is about knowledge? Do we gain new knowledge by using this new alternative, for instance? Is it the best available solutions? Are there within the alternatives, so to say? What is about involvement of people affected? What is about fair distribution of risk? And what is about opposition? Is there probably opposition in the country where, or in the organization where you want to put this investment in? The sixth dimension is the political significance, and that deals with the state-citizen relationship. what does it mean for this relationship if we, for instance, as one measure, the retention directive put into place? What is about political participation? Is there a need or is there any chance for political participation with regard to this investment? Could there be, or is there a built-in potential for political abuse? Shall we be aware of the future of using this investment in the near or far further future? What is about the relation of experts and non-experts? Can that measure be handled by non-experts too, or by experts only? So is there kind of danger in that? Or what does the envisaged investment do with regard to public debate on security? Will that enhance the public debate? Will that enhance the transparency in a society, talking about what security means? And of course, and that's quite easy to understand, the seventh dimension is about economy. It's about investment costs, operating costs, and other additional costs arising with a certain measure envisaged. What are the benefits? What are externalities? And are there any macroeconomic effects besides the labor market issue we already have dealt with in the social implications fourth dimension? So this is basically what the core element of DESSI is. You are assessing 2, 3 or more alternatives on about 42 criteria structured within 7 dimensions. And of course, what DESSI not does, making the decision for you, for the decision makers. It just provides insights, it provides quantitative and qualitative knowledge about different alternatives on an issue at stake, and you can create with the web tool, and we will use that in the afternoon anyway, you can create summary reports, you can create visual impact, what different alternatives mean for your problem at stake, and in the end the decision maker has to make the decision, because that it doesn't. Thank you.